All right, so today we're diving into some audio excerpts that you shared with us
Okay.
from a course on seduction.
Right.
And we're not just going to be talking like cheesy pickup lines or anything like that.
Okay.
We're really going deep into how language,
Yeah.
especially cause and effect phrasing,
Mm-hmm.
can actually shape beliefs
Yeah.
and even actions.
This is going to be good.
So,
Yeah, it's really about like the underlying structure
yeah.
of how we even form beliefs.
Okay.
And so, like, even in something like attraction,
Yeah.
which we often think of as like purely emotional,
Right.
there's like a hidden logic at play.
Fascinating.
So break this down for me.
So think of any belief that you hold.
Yeah.
You can almost always find a meringue because
Okay.
lurking behind it,
Okay.
the source uses a simple example.
Right.
Trees are bad because, and it might sound silly at first,
Yeah.
but it makes you realize that every belief,
Mm-hmm.
even seemingly irrational ones,
Right.
has a reason behind it. Okay, so how does this connect to seduction? Or
Yeah.
we're not trying to convince someone that trees are evil, right?
Not exactly.
Okay.
But understanding how beliefs are built
Yeah.
is crucial if you want to influence someone's actions.
Right.
And the source argues that in seduction,
Mm-hmm.
particularly with women, this is where things get really interesting.
Okay. Is it because emotions are involved?
Precisely.
Okay.
The source suggests that women often make decisions based on emotion,
Okay.
then seek logical justification afterwards.
Okay.
And this is where cause and effect language comes in.
Yeah.
It provides that pseudo-logic,
Mm-hmm.
making the desired action feel reasonable,
Okay.
even if the connection isn't rock solid.
So you're basically giving their mind like
Yeah.
a little nudge in the right direction.
In a way, yes.
Okay.
But it's not about trickery or anything like that.
Right.
It's about understanding the subtle ways that language can
Mhm.
influence perception.
Okay.
The source highlights specific linking words that create this cause and effect framework.
Right.
Words like causes
Mm-hmm.
creates even simple ones like since and because
Yeah.
can have a persuasive impact.
Hold on. So you're saying just using the word because
Yeah.
can make someone more likely to do something.
Yeah.
That sounds almost too easy.
Well, the source dives into this,
Mhm.
and it's not about like mind control or anything.
Right.
The key is that the link doesn't have to be factually strong,
Okay.
just logically plausible.
Okay.
Our minds crave patterns and connections, even if they're a bit flimsy.
Right.
It's part of how we make sense of the world.
This is starting to click for me.
Okay.
But let's get specific.
Okay.
How does this play out in like a real life seduction scenario?
Okay, so the source gives some pretty bold examples,
Okay.
like saying to a woman,
Yeah.
sitting here listening to what I'm saying, can create in your mind an image of us together,
Wow.
doing all sorts of fun things.
Okay. That's pretty direct.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that come off as kind of cheesy?
Well, the source acknowledges that directness can be risky.
Okay.
He also suggests using softer linking words like allows,
Right.
for example,
Yeah.
as you think about the conversation we're having.
Uh-huh.
That can allow you to really think about all the good things between us.
Okay.
It feels less forceful,
Right.
more like the listener is arriving at the conclusion on their own.
I see. It's almost like planting a seed and
I
letting
see.
it grow naturally.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The source calls this implied cause and effect.
Okay.
It often starts with as
Right.
and creates the illusion that the listener is already on board with the outcome.
Okay.
It's less about persuasion, more about suggestion.
And this actually works.
Well,
You think this kind of subtle language manipulation happens all the time?
it's more common than you might think.
Really?
The source even gives an example that's relevant to like everyday life,
Okay.
not just seduction.
All right.
As you learn this pattern, you'll feel the sense of accomplishment.
Oh.
It's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah.
The language primes you to experience that predicted feeling.
Oh, that's fascinating.
Yeah?
It reminds me of a study
Yeah.
from Robert Cialdini's book, Influence.
Uh-huh.
Have you heard of the copy machine experiment?
Because experiment.
Yeah.
It's a classic study
Yeah.
that perfectly illustrates how our minds just crave justification,
Yeah.
even if it's flimsy.
Even if it makes no sense.
Exactly.
It's wild.
Yeah. People were more likely to let someone cut in line
Yeah.
if they gave any reason, even
Yeah.
nonsensical ones.
Excuse me, can I cut in line because I have to make copies? It's obvious everyone in line has to make copies.
Exactly.
But that's simple because
yeah.
acted as a mental trigger.
Right.
Satisfying our need for a reason.
Yeah.
Increasing compliance.
Yeah. Our brains are constantly seeking cause and effect relationships,
Wow.
even where they don't exist.
That's both incredible and a little unnerving, isn't it? Knowing how easily our minds can be influenced by these seemingly simple language cues.
It certainly highlights the importance of being aware of these patterns.
Right.
Not just so we can, like, use them effectively ourselves,
Right.
but also to protect ourselves from being manipulated by others.
Okay, so we've covered like the basics
Yeah.
of cause and effect language,
Right.
but I have a feeling the source material has even more tricks up its sleeve.
Oh, yeah.
What's next on this journey into the psychology of seduction?
Let's explore a technique called binds,
Binds.
where the source takes this concept of influence and choices to a whole new level.
Oh, binds sounds intriguing.
Yeah.
Let's unravel that in the next part of our deep dive.
Okay.
Okay, so back to our seduction deep dive.
Right.
You tease this technique called binds.
Yeah.
It sounds like something straight out of a magician's playbook.
Well, it's not magic,
Okay.
but it does involve a bit of clever psychology.
Okay.
Binds, as explained in the source,
Right.
involve presenting someone with what seem like choices,
Okay.
but both options actually lead to the desired outcome.
Oh, so it's like a choose your own adventure book.
Exactly.
Where every path leads to the same end.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
It's about creating an illusion of choice
Right.
while subtly guiding someone towards the decision you want them to make.
Can you give me like a real world example of
Yeah.
how this might work in a seduction scenario?
Let's say you're interested in a woman
Okay.
and you want to spend more time with her.
Okay.
You could use a bind. Like,
Yeah.
would you rather grab coffee and chat some more?
Uh-huh.
Or would you prefer to go for a walk in the park and enjoy the fresh air?
Ah, I see. So both options involve spending time together.
Exactly.
But she feels like she's making the choice.
That's the brilliance of binds.
Okay.
They tap into our desire to feel in control,
Yeah.
even when we're being subtly influenced.
Interesting.
The source also mentions a more subtle type of bind
Okay.
called a hidden double bind,
Kid and double bind. And
which takes things a step further.
now that sounds seriously sneaky.
Yeah.
How do those work?
Hidden double binds use language to create confusion,
Okay.
making the listener more susceptible to suggestion.
Okay.
The source gives this example.
Okay.
I only know that most people in a situation like this would just prefer to spend the night with each other,
Mm-hmm.
or just have a good time together all night long in each other's company.
Okay.
But what's really important is that we make it an awesome experience that we'll always remember in a wonderful way.
Uh-huh.
Does this sound desirable to you, or just extremely exciting?
Whoa, that's a mouthful.
It is. It's like a verbal maze.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Notice how the two options are essentially the same, creating
Yeah.
a sense of confusion.
Right.
Then the speaker distracts the listener with additional details
Right.
before hitting them with a tag question.
Right.
Does this sound desirable to you?
Yeah.
This snaps the listener out of the confusion
Right.
and prompts an immediate response. It's almost like using confusion as a tool
It is.
to bypass someone's critical thinking.
It is.
Do you think these techniques are ethical? It feels a bit manipulative.
The source actually acknowledges the potential for manipulation
Okay.
and emphasizes using these skills responsibly.
Right.
He stresses the importance of genuine connection and respect,
Okay.
not just trying to get someone to do what you want.
That makes sense. It's like anything else.
Right.
It can be used for good or bad.
Exactly.
So these binds are just one aspect
Yeah.
of a larger strategy that focuses on building genuine attraction and rapport.
Right.
Okay, cool.
The source material then dives into another fascinating concept,
Okay.
chick logic.
Chick logic.
It's all about understanding how women think and react
Okay.
in the context of seduction.
Okay, chick logic. Now you've really piqued my curiosity.
Right.
What are some of the key insights?
Well, he starts by challenging a common misconception
Okay.
that beautiful women are constantly hit on by quality men.
Oh, yeah, I've heard that assumption before.
Right.
Like, oh, she's gorgeous. She probably has guys lining up.
Exactly.
But I'm guessing the source has a different perspective.
He argues that while attractive women might get a lot of attention,
Okay.
it's often from men who lack the qualities they truly desire.
So it's quantity over quality.
Right.
They might be bombarded with attention,
Yeah.
but not the kind they actually find appealing.
Precisely.
Okay.
He points to the phenomenon of the bee shield.
The what?
The bee shield,
Okay.
where attractive women seem cold or dismissive.
Okay.
But he suggests this isn't necessarily intentional.
Oh, so it's not that they're actually mean,
Right.
but maybe they've built up walls to protect themselves from unwanted advances.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Years of dealing with clumsy pickup lines and superficial compliments
Right.
can lead to a guarded exterior.
Makes sense.
It's a defense mechanism,
Yeah.
a way to filter out the noise,
Mm-hmm.
and only engage with men who demonstrate genuine value and understanding.
So if a woman has her B shield up, how do you break through it?
He does.
Does the source offer any strategies for dealing with this?
He does one technique he calls denial of affirmations.
Denial of affirmations.
Yeah.
But aren't affirmations supposed to be positive?
They are.
Why would you deny someone a compliment?
That's the twist.
Okay.
Attractive women are constantly showered with compliments.
Okay.
So those affirmations lose their impact.
Right.
They become expected, even addictive.
So by denying those affirmations, you're actually creating a contrast that makes you stand out.
Right?
You're not playing into her expectations.
Exactly. It disrupts the pattern and makes her pay attention.
Right.
Instead of gushing about her beauty,
Mm-hmm.
you approach her with a more neutral,
Yeah.
even slightly critical tone.
So you're not being outright mean,
Right.
but you're not showering her with praise either.
Exactly.
Okay.
You're taking a more nuanced approach.
All right.
The source calls this a neg, short for negative hit.
Okay.
It's a subtle comment that implies doubt
Okay.
or playfully challenges her perceived perfection.
Can you give me an example of a neg?
Sure, imagine a woman with striking red lipstick.
Okay.
Instead of saying, wow, your lipstick is amazing,
Yeah.
you might say, that's a bold lipstick choice. It's definitely eye-catching.
Ah, I see. So you're acknowledging her,
You are.
but you're not going over the top with praise.
Right.
You're being a bit more reserved,
Exactly.
which makes you stand out from the crowd.
Exactly. It sparks her curiosity.
Okay.
It makes her want to prove you wrong,
Oh,
to show you that she is in fact worthy of praise.
so it's a way to pique her interest
Right.
and get her to invest in the interaction.
Exactly.
It's subtle but powerful.
The source takes this a step further with his progressive denial of affirmations approach.
Progressive denial of affirmations.
Yeah.
Okay.
He focuses on an aspect of her appearance she can easily change,
Okay.
like her makeup or clothing style,
Oh.
and offers constructive criticism.
Whoa, wait. So he's actually given unsolicited fashion advice.
He
Yeah,
is.
please.
Isn't that risky?
It can be, but the key is in the framing.
Okay.
He presents it as an opportunity for her to enhance her already attractive features.
Okay.
He positions himself as someone with a keen eye for style,
Gotcha.
someone who can add value to her life.
So it's not just about the criticism, it's about how you deliver it.
Oh, yeah.
You're offering your expertise,
Right.
showing her that you're paying attention
Right.
and that you genuinely want to help her look her best.
And remember, women are very attuned to subtle cues.
Yeah.
They're constantly evaluating men,
Right.
looking for someone who can offer them something unique, whether it's excitement, knowledge,
Yeah.
or even a fresh perspective on their style.
I'm starting to see how this all ties together.
Good.
By denying those expected affirmations and offering tailored advice,
Yes.
you're creating a sense of value and challenge that can be very attractive to women.
Exactly.
The source also emphasizes understanding's tests.
Is tests.
Yeah, these are those little challenges
Okay.
or seemingly unreasonable requests women use
Yeah.
to gauge a man's character and strength of will.
Ah, the classic come help me wash my car scenario.
Exactly.
It's not about the car, it's about seeing how you respond to her requests.
Exactly. The source argues that passing these tests
Mm-hmm.
demonstrates your value
Okay.
and establishes you as a man who won't be easily manipulated.
But how do you handle these S tests without coming across as angry or resentful?
He suggests a reframe technique.
Okay.
Treat her like a child testing boundaries.
Okay.
Set firm but playful limits,
Right.
demonstrating that you expect respect
Right.
and won't tolerate being treated poorly.
That's an interesting way to look at it.
It is.
So you're not giving in.
Right,
You're
Sarah.
also not getting into a power struggle.
Right.
You're maintaining your composure
Exactly.
and setting clear expectations.
And the source offers a really powerful insight.
What's that?
If a woman is giving you a CES test,
Yeah.
it means she's invested on some level.
Oh.
She wouldn't bother testing you if she wasn't interested.
So rather than getting frustrated by these tests,
Right.
we should see them as a good sign.
You should.
It means we're on her radar.
Yes.
And she's trying to figure us out.
Precisely.
Okay.
The source frames these tests as opportunities
Mm-hmm.
to demonstrate your worth
Okay.
and move forward in the interaction.
Gotcha.
Each test you pass strengthens her perception of you as a desirable partner.
This is all making sense.
Good.
But how else can we gain a better understanding of
No.
what women want and how they think?
He does.
Does the source offer any unconventional advice?
He does. He actually suggests reading women's magazines.
Really?
particularly cosmopolitan.
Cosmopolitan.
Yeah.
That's not exactly what I expected to hear in a
Right.
course on seduction.
Right.
What's the logic behind that?
He argues that these magazines written by women, for women, offer valuable insights into their desires, fears, and perspectives.
Okay.
It's like a window into the female psyche.
So it's not just about reading pickup lines.
Right.
It's about understanding the world through a woman's eyes.
Exactly.
You can learn about their interests, what they value,
Right.
even pick up some fashion and beauty tips to use in your interactions.
Don't underestimate the power of shared interest and knowledge.
Yeah, that's true.
Being able to connect with a woman on her level,
Yeah.
whether it's discussing a current event she read about in Cosmo, or offering a genuine compliment on her new lipstick shade,
Right.
can build rapport
Yeah.
and create a sense of connection.
Okay, this is making a lot of sense.
Good.
It's not just about mastering techniques.
Right.
It's about becoming a well-rounded individual who can engage women on multiple levels.
Exactly. And he adds a final piece of advice.
Okay.
Don't over-seduce.
Don't over-seduce.
Yeah.
What does that even mean?
He emphasizes the importance of recognizing when a woman is ready to move forward physically
Okay.
and then taking decisive action.
Okay.
Don't keep pushing techniques
Right.
or trying to convince her
Yeah.
when she's already given you the green light.
So it's about recognizing the signs of interest
Yes.
and making a move at the right moment.
Right. He also points out that women often worry about being perceived as easy or promiscuous.
Right.
It's important to create a context where they feel comfortable expressing their desires
Okay.
and taking the lead,
Gotcha.
even if it's subtly orchestrated by you.
So it's about creating a safe and comfortable space for her
Yes,
to express her sexuality without feeling judged or pressured.
exactly. The source encourages men to be assertive,
Okay.
but also sensitive to a woman's cues and boundaries.
This deep dive into chick logic has been eye-opening.
Good.
It's challenging some of my assumptions about how women think and react in dating situations.
Good. In the next part, we'll explore the source's analysis of seductive patterning, examining how specific language patterns and strategies can influence women's emotions and desires,
All right.
leading to deeper connection and ultimately a successful seduction.
Sounds good. Okay, so we're back for the final part of our seduction deep dive.
Right.
You mentioned a seductive patterning at the end of the last segment.
Mm-hmm.
What exactly does that entail?
It's all about using specific language patterns
Okay.
to create a deeper connection and make a woman more receptive to seduction.
All right.
It's like weaving a tapestry of words that evoke emotions and guide her thoughts in a particular direction.
So it's not just about what you say,
Right.
but how you say it.
Exactly.
It sounds like we're getting into the realm of
Whoa.
subtle influence and persuasion here.
Yes. The source emphasizes that cause and effect language plays a crucial role
Okay.
in seductive patterning.
All right.
He gives an example like
Yeah.
listening to the words I'm saying causes you to become more fascinated and interested in what I'm going to say next.
That's a pretty direct example.
It is.
But it's interesting how he's linking the act of listening
Right.
to an increase in fascination. It's
Yeah.
almost like he's planting that suggestion in her mind.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
The source believes that this kind of language taps into how women think and process information.
Okay.
He suggests that women often justify their actions based on emotions
Right.
and then seek logical reasons to support those feelings.
Okay.
Cause and effect language provides that pseudo-logic,
Yeah.
making the desired outcome seem like a natural consequence.
So it's like you're giving her a framework
Exactly.
to understand her own feelings of attraction.
Right.
It takes the pressure off of having to overanalyze things.
Exactly. But the source is careful to point out that these patterns
Yeah.
shouldn't be used in isolation
Right.
or without genuine interest in the woman.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
It's not about manipulation. It's
Mhm.
about enhancing a connection that's already there.
exactly. He
Wow.
uses a fascinating analogy.
I-
Comparing the process to slipping inside a woman's mind
Whoa.
and gently guiding her thoughts and feelings toward the desired outcome.
That sounds pretty intense.
It is.
But wouldn't that be unethical if it's not done with the right intentions?
The source acknowledges the potential for misuse,
Okay.
but stresses that the ultimate goal is to create a shared experience of desire and pleasure,
Okay.
not to deceive or control.
Right.
It's about respect, connection, and mutual enjoyment.
That makes me feel better.
Okay.
It sounds like these techniques can be powerful,
Yeah.
but they need to be used responsibly and with sensitivity.
Absolutely. Now, going back to this idea of chick logic
Yeah.
that the source keeps talking about,
Yeah.
are there any other like key insights
Yeah.
about how women perceive the world
Yeah.
and make decisions?
Yeah, I'm all ears.
Okay.
I find this whole concept of understanding the female perspective
Yeah.
incredibly fascinating.
The source believes that women are driven by a strong desire for connection,
Okay.
emotional intimacy,
Ah.
and feeling understood.
Okay.
He encourages men to demonstrate empathy,
Mm.
listen actively,
Mm.
and validate her feelings.
Okay.
These are crucial elements in building attraction.
So it's not just about physical attraction
Right.
or mastering techniques.
It's not.
It's about connecting on a deeper emotional level.
Precisely. And he argues that women are extremely attuned to nonverbal cues,
Okay.
those subtle shifts in energy and body language.
Okay.
They can often sense when a man is genuinely interested
Right.
versus just putting on an act.
That makes sense. Women are often described as being more intuitive than men.
Right.
They pick up on those little things that we might not even be aware we're communicating.
Exactly. He encourages men to be mindful of their body language, tone of voice, and overall energy.
Right.
Authenticity is key.
Yeah.
Trying to fake it will only backfire.
It goes back to that idea of being your best self,
Exactly.
but also being genuine. Trying to
Sure.
be someone you're not is exhausting
Right.
and ultimately unsustainable.
He also highlights the importance of confidence and self-assuredness.
Okay.
Women are drawn to men who are comfortable in their own skin
Right.
and project an aura of strength and stability.
Yeah.
It's about knowing your worth
Okay.
and not being afraid to go after what you want.
That's not about arrogance or being cocky.
No.
It's about having a healthy sense of self-respect.
Exactly.
And that confidence is contagious, isn't it?
It is.
It makes you more attractive to others.
Exactly. And the source has one final piece of advice
Okay.
that I think is relevant not just for seduction,
Right.
but for life in general.
Okay. Let's hear it.
Don't be afraid to take risks
Okay.
and make mistakes.
That's good advice.
It is.
We all learn from our mistakes. That's how we
Yeah.
grow and improve.
He emphasizes that seduction is a skill
Okay.
that develops through practice and experimentation.
Okay.
You're not going to get it right every time,
Right.
and that's okay.
Yeah.
The important thing is to learn from your experiences
Right.
and keep refining your approach.
So it's a journey, not a destination.
Exactly.
And it's a journey that can lead to incredible growth and self-discovery.
This deep dive into seduction has really been a fascinating exploration
It has.
in language psychology and the complex dynamics of attraction.
Yeah, for sure.
We've covered a lot of ground,
Yeah, we have.
from the subtle power of cause and effect language
Right.
to the intricacies of chick logic and the importance of ethical persuasion.
What are your biggest takeaways from this deep dive?
Wow.
I think the most important thing I've learned is that seduction isn't about tricks
Right.
or manipulation. It's about understanding yourself, understanding women,
Yeah.
and building genuine connections based on respect,
Yes.
empathy, and shared values.
Exactly.
It's about using language consciously to enhance attraction, not to force it.
I agree. And I think it's important to remember that these principles of communication and persuasion can be applied to all areas of life,
Yeah.
not just romantic relationships.
Right.
Whether you're negotiating a business deal,
Yeah.
trying to convince a friend to try a new restaurant,
Right.
or simply wanting to communicate more effectively with your loved ones.
Right.
Understanding the subtle power of language
Yeah,
can be an invaluable tool.
for sure. Any final thoughts for our listener as we wrap up this deep dive? I encourage you to reflect on what you've learned
Yeah.
and consider how you can apply these insights to your own life. Remember, seduction is just one aspect of human interaction.
Right.
The key is to use this knowledge responsibly,
Yes.
ethically, and with the intention of creating positive and mutually fulfilling experiences.
Well said. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the art and science of seduction.
Yeah, thanks for listening, everybody.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep connecting.